Hello.
Hey.
I don't see you.
I know.
I gotta get my lighting right.
I have my super secret, what do you call it? Web security in place over my webcam.
Okay. And how do I make you co-host participants?
Yeah, that's the easy. There's another way, but that's the easiest one I found.
Yes, that's it. Why am I so dark? Oh my gosh.
Look at your screen. You flipped it.
Huh?
You flipped your screen.
I bought a white one instead, so just wanted to see what the difference is. So the white one or the black one.
You can't go wrong. They both look nice. But I don't know how the white one will do with that artificial.
Okay, I gotta figure out why. It's much darker with the white screen on. I don't understand why. Why I don't have as much light. That's not good. I normally have more light. That's weird. I see 4 people have registered, or 3.
Excellent. I just put out a blast. Oh, come on.
Oh, and I got to figure out how to get my thank you at the back end of it. Let's see.
Definitely should have started my makeup a little earlier. I planned to, but I was promoting and changing. Oh, nice.
Oh, you see it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's the best I could come up with in a pinch.
Hey, that's all we need.
After sitting in traffic for an hour and a half, that was it. Okay, I still don't understand why I'm so dark. This is weird. Even with my light on.
Well, you got a ring light, right?
No, but I've been doing all my Zooms with just my regular light in the window. I have a ring light, but no.
Plug it in, baby.
Huh?
I said, plug it in, baby.
Yeah, but I wonder, is it the screen that's doing this? Because, I mean, I do Zooms all the time, and this is not an issue. I go back to the black screen. That make a difference. A little bit better. Interesting.
$5 minutes. Oh no. Where's my, okay. Yeah, my two eyes are very different.
We have somebody on that's joined the meeting.
That's beautiful. I'll see you in 5.
Okay. Welcome. Hello.
Hey, hey, hey.
Right. We have people coming in.
Is the amazing Dr. Peggy Gleason. Look at that.
She's at work. She said, I'm going to hop on. So we're happy to have her.
I love it. And Vernita, the Queen of Atlanta.
Okay. Great.
All righty.
Okay, we have somebody else on mute, so we can get started. We'd like to start on time and end on time. So hello, everybody. My name is Sarita Folks. We cannot mute ourselves. Cannot unmute? Mute or unmute?
I think she means unmute. Yeah.
Okay. Oh, all right. Got it. Let's see. Okay. All right. So hello, everybody. My name is Sarita Folks. I'm a certified holistic health coach, and I'm certified by the Institute of Holistic Health Coaches, which is a large and growing group of health coaches. And we are so thankful and happy to have with us today, Dr. Lisa Battle Singletary. Hello, Dr. Lisa.
Good morning, afternoon, evening, wherever you are around the world, whenever you're watching this. It's a blessing to be here.
Yeah, Dr. Lisa has many credentials. I know that she's a board certified family physician. She's now retired, but she hails from Johns Hopkins University and many other accolades. So you can tell us more about all your accomplishments and your degrees, if you would.
Okay, well, Johns Hopkins is part of my pedigree. But I think, if you don't mind,
yeah,
I'd first like to give the people a little bit of
background,
inside scoop on how you and I met.
Okay.
I think the year was 2015.
Mm-hmm.
And there was an event in Northern Virginia. And we were both qualified to go. And I saw, you weren't straight across the table from me. You were like cat a corner from me, but I just thought you were I just thought you were really sharp. Like who is she and why aren't we working together? And as time went on, we demonstrated similar interests. We were both interested in aromatherapy. We both were, at some other events. You had this event, another event at an elementary school, I think, in Northern Virginia. And I heard about you meeting with professional teams. And I was like, who is this woman? I've got to find out more about her. I got to know more about her. And then we ended up going to Anaheim, and you invited me. And the host hotel for this convention was completely sold out. And you invited me to room with you. And that was such a blessing because I was not too long out of a wheelchair. And I could have used a wheelchair to wheel around that large hotel, but I probably was just a little too proud. And it was physically a difficult trip for me. But you, Sarita, you stood by me that entire trip. You were my armor bearer. You were my wing, what do they call it? Wing leader, wing something.
Wingman.
You were my wingman. You held up my hands that whole trip. You figured out ways to help me. I didn't even know how to ask. And it would have been a very, very different trip for me without you. So I'm forever grateful to you for how you took care of me. And you just, I mean, you didn't know me. I mean, we were just brushing on parallel paths on this journey, but you just displayed to me such heart. And just the more I learned about you, the more blessed I am, not just was, but am, to have you in my life. So I just want everyone to know that Sarita Folks is a champion, and that when you pour your life out for someone like, I mean, you didn't have to stick with me all days on end on that trip, but you did. And I'm just so thankful that the Lord, I'm going to say it, the Lord put us together.
Mhm.
Because I took the whole thing as divine intervention to be a blessing for me. And it totally was the whole time. So thank you. I have several degrees. I really don't want to go into them all, but the three that I usually put in my signature, the MD, so I have a medical doctorate from Howard University College of Medicine in Washington, D.C. I did a residency in family practice at the University of Maryland at Baltimore. So I'm a Maryland girl. And I did, I have a master's in public health from the Johns Hopkins University, also in Baltimore. So that's not all, but what I would like to do, I made a little PowerPoint to kind of share some of my journey. And I would, if you don't mind, I'd like to share that with you.
Sure. Well, my first question is, tell me about your journey. So.
Oh, really? Okay. All right. So I didn't put that all on my PowerPoint. So
okay. Well, you can narrate as you go. How about
yeah,
that?
I'll figure it out, because there is well, I'll start with just how I grew up. I grew up on a farm, and both of my parents worked, so I was really raised by my grandparents, my grandmother. My grandfather was a farmer, but I was in my grandmother's kitchen all day. And I watched as she would take the roots and leaves and barks and berries that he would bring from the woods and make teas and poultices and who knows what. And people would come by to get these natural healing, substances or treatments. And so I grew up in the presence of natural healers. In the course of all those degrees, that was all educated out of me. And it's really been a full circle journey for me to come back to holistic medicine, and they call it alternative medicine, and particularly in my case, nutrition, because that was the way I started. So my particular challenge through most of my life was my weight. And I think I can share. Am I sharing my screen now?
Yes, you are.
Okay, awesome. So I'm gonna move that a little bit. So I'm starting at 2006, which was probably the height of my weight. I tracked my weight through the decades. When I turned 60, and just, you could see this trajectory go up, 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 up. And at the max, which was around 2006, I was heavy, as you can see, but I still had the gift of mobility. And I love ballroom dancing. I wanted to put my tango face on here, but it might have been too much for you. So a little cha-cha-cha. And then 2 years later, I had a different calling. I was called to go home to take care of my parents. And that was a very, very stressful time. And this little girl, you're going to see 8 years later. So after taking care of my parents full time for 8 years, I needed my father's wheelchair just to get around the house. And this happens to be the same little girl. And I think this is the only picture of me in a wheelchair, as far as I know. But it took everything out of me to take care of my parents. And that was, I mean, you name the category: financial, spiritual, physical, psychological. I was spent. And then a miracle happened. I love this slide. I used to teach somewhere in my journey, I used to teach biology. I used to teach anatomy and physiology. I was a preceptor for medical students and nurse practitioners. And I always use this slide because I always want my students to realize and to embrace the fact that life is a miracle. And I don't want them to lose that. So no matter how much science we get into, there's always this little thing that we can't figure out. Sometimes they'll put a fudge factor in or something, but there's a miracle in there. And the miracle happened to me. And the miracle happened in the form of nutrition. And within a period of, let's see, this first picture was March of 2014. So 8.5 months later, I actually, when I saw, because I wasn't following the scales, I wasn't on a diet, it was just getting nutrition in my body. It changed me. It changed my relationship with food, and my body started to respond. And so 8.5 months later, I was like, I need to document this. So I pretended I lost my driver's license and I went and got another one. And so actually it was just one product actually that got me from the first picture to the second picture, because I didn't know all of the other products that were available. But yeah, and then from this picture, I was kind of coasting around here around this weight for, well, almost 5 years. But then I got on the keto program, the Keto 90, and that brought me to this picture. And then 2019, 2020. So
Wow.
That was that was when I just kind of look back and try to capture my journey. I never was one for the camera, but fortunately I kept those and was able to find them. So
that is wonderful.
Yeah, I just that if you just look at that, the role or the benefits of nutrition in my life, I've been greatly benefited.
Okay. That's a great, that was my question, was what challenge did you overcome? So that's obviously you overcame the weight challenge. Okay. Oh my gosh.
Challenges that I overcome. I'm still working on it. And you know, it's interesting because I mean, yeah, that's my physical challenge, but I think of challenges in business as well. And one of the challenges that I had to overcome was just my entire identity as a physician, you know, that because of in large part because of the Flexner report and because of Marcus Welby, who was my childhood idol. I don't know how many people remember that show, but I wanted to have the kind of impact he had in the community. I wanted to help people,
Yeah.
but I wanted to be able to do it on my own terms. And I worked very hard to be in a place where I could do that, getting my MD, getting the master's in public health, et cetera. And that even when I, quote unquote, gave it all away, you know, my active license and whatnot to take care of my parents, I still mentally not just, but I still held on mentally to my identity as a physician. I just went from a practice of thousands to a practice of two.
Mm.
And I fought for them. I fought the medical system for them. I know I added years to their lives. I know I added dignity to their lives. And even as my colleagues were, talking about visiting their relatives in this place or that, visiting their parents in this assisted living or this nursing home, and I was like, why didn't I think of that? And it just wasn't even a thought. I just knew that I would have to go home and take care of them.
Yeah.
So even, claw with the last little fingernails on my clawed hands, I still kept my identity as a physician. But for network marketing, that can be a problem because it's not duplicatable. And the more I learned about network marketing, the more I realized I'm gonna have to shed this somehow. And I tried, and people say, oh, you'll be great at this because you're a doctor, or I'll bet you have people because you're a doctor. I'm like, nope, they don't listen to me any more than they listen to you.
Yeah.
Even when I was in the clinic, they didn't listen to me any more than they listen. I mean, people do what they want. They hear what they want. Yeah.
What would be your greatest advice for our viewers about your niche? So since you were in the medical profession, huh?
I heard that word you used, the niche.
Yes, you were in the medical profession and now you're not a practicing in an office physician anymore. So what's your niche now? Nutrition, I hear. Any specific, area that you're focusing on?
Well, that was a journey. That was an obstacle too, really, because when you have a banquet before you and you can serve as much of that banquet as you want to people, you can go overboard. And I actually heard a webinar by Shalene Johnson, and she told her story. She's an awesome brand expert and whatnot. So I've had to study marketing to really get into my mind. You are a professional network marketer, as well as a physician or retired physician. But I first heard from her the concept of niching down. I was like, what is niching down? And it's narrowing your focus. And if you're the more narrow, the more focused you are, the more impact you can have on the people you want to have impact on. Now, I wanted to have impact on everybody, and everybody can whatever. But and then I heard Tanya Eliza, another guru that I've listened to, and she talked about always ask this question: can you make it more specific? So, okay, I went from everything possible, narrowed down to health and wellness, or nutrition, basically. And my first moniker was your trusted health navigator, because I wanted to help people navigate through the good, the bad, and the ugly of alternative medicine. And I can't stand that I keep saying that word because it's just a type of medicine. But she talked about being more specific. So I said, okay, weight loss. That's what I'm doing. That's my, that's going to be my wheelhouse.
Yeah.
And then the keto came along, and I was like, and when I was successful with the keto, I was like, all right, that's even narrower than weight loss. Now, I do have a question myself, is that being almost too niched down? But, I'm trusting the gurus, and they say you cannot be too specific. So I am your virtual keto coach.
You're very okay. That's good. That's good. Well, you definitely have a journey, and it's good that you document that because you have the photos to show it. Because people like pictures; they like to see like your journey of before and where you are now. On your way to where you are now, and I don't know how much what your final goal is, but it's encouraging, and that's what people need. They need hope now to see that it is doable, that is not hard, but they have to be willing and understand it's not hard. You can do that, and you're showing that, and especially coming from a medical background as an MD, that people have preconceived ideas that what the doctor would tell you, sort of thing. So I see that you would have even a better platform to talk to people that's like from this perspective of being in the medical field, doctor, that I can talk to you about how nutrition and medicine can, what we call medicine meets nutrition, how they both can work for you if you know what to do.
Well, in my network marketing career, when I left my practice, I left a huge part of a huge network, right? So I was kind of in this middle place where I didn't have access to all of I was just on this farm in southern Anne Arundel County, taking care of these two old people, and but still had this idea of wanting, once I was introduced, because it was during that time that I was introduced to my current company, and I just knew that these products could change the world, but wasn't sure how long I'd be down there in Lothian, Maryland, just taking care of my parents, and my vacations were sitting on the parking lot in my car.
Yeah.
Like a friend of mine, we had this ongoing joke, like she'd call me and say, what parking lot are you on now? I'd say, well, I'm at Best Buy, or well, I'm in the Giant parking lot. I've just been here 20 minutes, but I got to go home.
Yeah.
Or sometimes I would just sit in the car in front of my house. Just that was my time away, and then I'd have to go back in.
You have to do what you have to do. I
Listen,
understand being a caregiver,
let me say this. My hat is off to all of the nurses.
Yeah.
To all of the caregivers.
Absolutely.
My hat is, I used to say, maybe verbally, I don't know if I said it out loud to anybody, but I used to think I could never be a nurse. Like, I'm so glad I'm a physician. I could never do that. And then all of a sudden, I had to be a nurse for two people that I loved.
Right.
So there was no cutting corners. There was no, everything had to be done. I had to figure it out.
That's
so.
Good. Yeah, that's good. I mean, nurses, I said nurses are special people. I know doctors are too, but nurses, they do the grunt work, The nurses do the grunt work, and I love nurses, and anybody that's a nurse, I have all the high regard and respect for them, because I don't do blood, I don't do fluids. And it's like, okay, you guys.
I got stories.
Okay. But let me ask you a question. So what resources or tools have made your life easier for you now?
Oh, okay. Right away, the first thing that popped in my mind was Zoom,
Okay.
right? I mean, I can meet all these new people and have this exchange of life without leaving my house. That's like, that's been a huge, huge resource, especially in this worldwide pandemic time. And, it was really, was it life changing? It was part of a real change in me. So I'll say part.
Mhm.
When I'm in a Zoom room with Les Brown,
Yeah.
and you start naming the people because of the connections that people had, and I just happened to be on somebody's list, and um, it's like that was amazing to me. And
Yeah.
then so the possibilities just kind of opened up for me when I started to embrace
Mhm.
uh, Zoom. My favorite tool, I love kitchen gadgets. My favorite tool is my pressure cooker.
It was- Yeah.
I probably have gone through 10 pressure cookers in my life, but it'll change your life. If they could have if I could be on a pressure cooker infomercial, no problem.
That's a thought. That's a new idea. You should probably do some YouTubes on that or something.
See, this is why, Sarita, you being I mean, I just said it, but I didn't really think of putting something like that into action.
Yeah.
But I could do a pressure cooker show. I could.
There you go. There you go. Got another question for you. What are your favorite books that you would recommend for all our viewers, and what impact and why?
Okay, so I gotta say the Bible, right? When I say that, um, that I mean, I've heard people ask that question in the past on other,
Hmm.
and they always say, "What book other than the Bible?" Right?
Oh, other than,
So
okay.
you didn't say other than, so the Bible. I gotta say. But then I can see my bookshelves. I've got a section on anatomy and physiology, the human body,
Hmm.
because the body is wondrous. And the more I learn about it, even now, the more astounded I am.
Hmm.
I got another shelf, another section for makeup.
Oh.
I love makeup. I don't use it a lot. I do have on a little lipstick,
Yeah, lipstick is pretty. I love that color.
but what makeup teaches me is the power of, and the possibility of transformation.
Hmm.
And like you can choose to transform yourself in little ways or in large ways.
Yeah.
And I think that's what when I can see, before and after pictures, things like, it's like, wow, that wasn't something that happened over years. That happened in like an hour.
Yeah. There's a
And
quote. There's a quote by a gentleman. I think he said every bond needs a little paint now and again. So it's other words, it's okay to wear
exactly.
makeup and when you're all dolled up, as they say. It's so
Uh,
good.
yeah. So, and I have a section of cookbooks. And for me, that represents biochemistry in action.
Mm.
Like, and my favorite cookbook is called, I think, uh, oh, I don't remember the name of it now, but it's like the science and lore of cooking.
Oh.
On maybe it's on cooking. I don't know, on something, but it's the science and lore. And like, it's to the point where I can look at a recipe and I can almost taste the
Oh,
final
wow.
product. I can tell the texture, like there's no flour in that one, so the texture is going to be like this, or blah blah blah. So, but the proof of the pudding is always in the eating, right?
It's Well, that would probably be your chemistry background because you know the ingredients and so that I guess would help with that.
Sure. But the Bible, personal development books,
Yeah.
business development. Like I said, I'm studying marketing now. The lists of those go on, but and you get from those you get understanding.
Mm-hmm.
I took a biblical psychology course that gives, the understanding of the yearnings of the human heart. And the Watchman Nee wrote a book, The Latent Power of the Soul. We've got some powerful energy in our bodies and in our minds and our souls. And of course, it could be used for good, it could be used for evil, but what is man? Man, we are amazing.
We are fearfully and wonderfully
There you go.
made.
But the Bible gives wisdom. Even wisdom the world can't ignore. Even people that don't believe in God latch on to biblical truths, whether they know that's what they're doing or not.
Yeah.
But the Bible also gives life.
Yeah.
And it's supernatural. There's no other really way to say it. It's supernatural. And
it impacts the whole world.
Yeah. And the thing is, the hack is, it's not just the letter, it's the spirit.
Mm-hmm.
So
I agree.
None of my other books on the shelf could do that.
Yeah. Because they all came from that. What's your best advice for someone who is torn between seeing a medical doctor and a holistic health coach? Because you've heard people say, I don't want to go to the doctor, and because the doctor's going to do this, but we need doctors, we need medical doctors because they have their place. Yeah. But we don't want to throw away the nutrition either. So with a health coach, so how would you bridge the gap between going to a medical doctor? How would you help people out with that?
There are a lot of ways to answer that question.
Okay.
I'm thinking right now very strongly of a woman that I spoke with yesterday who had cataract surgery about 8 days ago on one eye. And they called her yesterday to say, we want to do the other eye on Monday. So that's 11 days between surgeries. So I'm saying to her, look, and she lives an hour away. So I'm like, look, I will drive up there. I'll bring you something for you to, take to try, just to get something in you for before you have the second surgery. She's like, well, the doctor said, don't add anything else. Don't take any other medications or whatever. Okay. So when I talked with her number one challenge in her life was energy. So I said, well, think about energy. The body only has so much. So if your body is putting out fires of inflammation and trying to heal from a surgery and, trying to manage oxidative stress, and it's going to rob from Peter to pay Paul. And she kind of got that. So I said, I just want to give Peter a little bit of something because Paul's coming to rob you on Monday.
Right.
So that conversation is to be continued. But, the fear of not doing something that the doctor says, I think is just an excuse, because people do not listen to their doctors, right? People do what they want. So I think really it's a fear of change.
Okay.
Maybe a fear, we're talking about dirt, leaves, maybe some fruits and vegetables. We're not talking about chemicals. We're talking about things that nourish and support the body. We're not talking about beta blockers, calcium channel blockers, alpha, it's nutrition. It's food you got to eat. And it just happens to be that if you give the body what it needs, it does amazing things. So to have, and this was the full circle really, because one of the things my cousins and I always used to commiserate about was that we never got the formulas that my grandparents used.
Yeah.
And that was like, why didn't we just ask them and write them? Or why didn't we pay more attention? I mean, I know what a sassafras leaf looks like, okay? But now to have recipes and formulas that really make a change in the body is just a total blessing. Did I answer the question? I forgot the question.
Well, you did go off a little bit, but that's okay. You know, the key is that, like, if somebody's in with the doctor,
okay,
yeah,
right.
and the doctor says, you know, you should do this, but.
So the third way I would answer that. So the first way was, you know, this thing is ingrained. You have to be a self-advocate. And the second thing is that's just an excuse, right? Of resistance to change. The third thing is it doesn't have to be either or. It's and both. The allopathic path has a place.
So explain, what is allopathic? So,
well, your regular MDs, the MD that you think about, that's an we practice, I'm saying I was trained in allopathic medicine. That is one segment of medicine. There is osteopathic medicine, chiropractic medicine, naturopathic medicine, homeopathic medicine. There are all these different ways of practicing medicine. But in 1910, I think, the Carnegie Foundation hired the Flexner brothers to go around and evaluate medical schools, and they were influenced by the pharmaceutical industry of the day. And so once they found which schools lean towards prescribing drugs versus other natural means, they started funding those schools with at least today it would be the equivalent of billions. I don't remember the actual numbers, but billions of dollars. And the other schools, many of them closed. And that impacted not only, that impacted all of the different types of medicine that were not accredited by that foundation. And, you know, the medical schools, I went to Howard University College of Medicine, which was one of the traditionally Black medical schools. And one of the two that survived Flexner. There were 5 Black colleges of medicine back in the day, you know, before Flexner, but they determined that only 2 cut the mustard. And it wasn't because we were up to their standards. It was because they thought, well, there should be Black doctors to take care of the Black people so that the white doctors wouldn't have to. And, you know, the Black people that were sick wouldn't be a burden on white society. Flexner. But the thing is, I did a call about that not too long ago, so it's a little fresh on my mind.
Okay.
But we still see the impact today of the deification of the physician, because we've got the power of the pen. We can write a little scribble and people can get their drugs. And then you mix in the insurance companies, right? You got to follow the dollar. So it is all this big residual impact.
Well, let me ask you,
the Flexner.
Is it lack of education where people, you know, they realize, okay, we need MDs, but we also need nutrition. So how to get people that's like, okay, you can go to your doctor and, you know, they can prescribe you something, but it's still okay to add nutrition to what you're doing to help the body. Like you said, if you give the body the right nutrients, it'll help heal itself. Even though they may be taking a prescription drug, if they take some nutrition along with that, because most drugs don't counteract. There are a few, I understand, that will counteract with some of the chemicals and other drugs. But for the most part, most nutrition can work simultaneously with drugs. Is that correct?
Like I said, you got to eat.
Yeah.
So if you can eat food, you could take nutrition, and you have to take nutrition because of industrial farming practices. The nutrients aren't in the soil anymore. And even in the first place, the nutrients were not uniformly distributed in the crust of the earth.
Right.
Just like their gold veins, there are veins of selenium, there are veins of other minerals in the earth, and industrial farming has virtually eliminated the benefits of crop rotation and the deterioration of what was left in the fields to go back into the soil, and just so many impacts of modern life have taken the nutrition out of the food. So you have to supplement.
Gotcha. That's a good question. Now, is there a question that I haven't asked that you think everybody should know? Coming from both both perspectives here.
Didn't we promise 5 steps of something? What did we promise?
Yes, we did.
We didn't quite get to that. So,
yes. So how about that? So 5 steps to increase your health.
Okay.
Maximize your.
That was it. All right. Number 1, mindset.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean that for many aspects. For instance, the one we talked about, but also having a sound mind, not operating in fear, and grabbing and using your own voice and I started to say common sense, but my uncle used to say sense isn't common. So, but getting the doctor off the pedestal a little bit, and being able to be an advocate for yourself, and making some decisions that will be proactive for your health. So, but you have to have a good mindset for that and be willing to change. Number 2, hydration. Right? It's so important. Every metabolic reaction in the body requires an aqueous environment. It requires water. So a lot of times when people are dehydrated, that alone, fixing that alone will do a lot towards improving their health. A lot of times, in fact, I don't know if this was a book or a video, but I made a call about it. It was like, you're not hungry, you're thirsty. Drink some water first.
Well, you know what? That's very interesting, because I've noticed that I've been tempted to want something after I eat dinner. I'm feeling hungry. It's like I want something else. But then I thought of me, it's like, you know what? Drink some water. And if I drink a full 16-ounce glass of water, it cuts it. And I'm full. I don't want anything after that. So that's amazing. That really is amazing.
Yeah. Now we can get into whole discussions about all the types of water and the tap water, bottled water, alkaline water, all these different waters. But the body is amazing. So get the water in.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
We can refine that with discussion.
Yeah, that's another topic.
Number 3, detoxification.
Mm-hmm.
The buildup of inflammation and oxidative stress in our bodies is killing us.
Mm.
And we have to give the body the ability to cleanse. And I think that's one reason we talked about, we chose the topic of the next seminar,
Right.
Webinar.
Yeah.
Cleansing versus detoxing, what's the difference, et cetera. But getting this sludge, this inflammation, this oxidative stress out of our bodies, we got to do that, or else consequences will occur either soon or later on down the line. Number 4 is nutrition. And I split that into 2 things. Macronutrition, that's carbohydrates, proteins, fats, and what percentage those make of your diet.
Mm-hmm.
And micronutrition, getting all of the microscopic nutrients that your body needs for all of this metabolic activity to be in, to balance and to be in flow. And number 5, movement. Keep it moving, keep it flowing. That goes a long way. Now, can I put in number 6?
Sure.
Number 6 is rest and restoration.
That's good.
So important. So, yeah, those are mine. Mindset, hydration, detoxification, nutrition, movement, rest, restoration.
Oh, wonderful. That is awesome. And actually, we're going to put these together and we're going to offer these as a download for everybody who registered. So you'll get this, and we'll be doing continuing seminars, webinars on this to give more information, because our whole purpose is for people to be healthy. Medicine meets nutrition is going to be ongoing. So we want you to stay tuned. And we have an idea that it's needed, that we want people to be healthy. We're in a climate where so many things are going on. Everybody knows probably somebody who has passed away either from COVID or just from illness. And, there's many reasons, but we know that if we can help people learn about nutrition, they can do something to live longer. But the key is live longer in health. You don't want to live long and be sick and in the bed. You want to live younger, longer, which means you have mobility, you have, you can enjoy life, because, that's the way God meant it for us to do it. So I'm going to ask Dr. Lisa to give some closing comments, and we want to invite you to our next event. The date is coming up. We'll show you, and we'll share all the details with you later. But if you'd like to do some closing comments, Dr. Lisa, and we're going to.
Yes, I think I want to address this. Someone texted me a question, Valerie. Mm-hmm. Hey, Valerie, thanks for coming. Texted me a question. She said, how can we make sure our bodies are taking in the nutrition? That is such an important question. I left that out. Really, I should have addressed it. So thank you, because we are not what we eat. We are what we absorb. Mm-hmm. So gut health is important enough to be its own separate category. It's, it's important in all of them, because the gut microbiome affects your mindset. The gut microbiome, the gut affects your hydration. If you drink and eat certain things, it will pull, like sodas, they'll pull fluid, they'll pull water out of your cells, and you can be dehydrated even though you're drinking sodas all day. You're drinking liquids, but you're not drinking water all day long. Your gut is one of your elimination, has part of the elimination function. So that affects your detoxification. Your nutrition, your micronutrition, macronutrition. And if your gut's not right, you're not going to feel like moving. So I thank you, Valerie, for bringing that up. So stay tuned. We've got a lot to discuss as medicine meets nutrition.
Awesome. All right. So here we go. I'm gonna share this. So I want to thank everybody for coming and join us August 20th. Put that on your calendar. Tell other people. We're going to do cleanse versus detox. Okay. Dr. Lisa mentioned that a little bit. So you hear people talk about cleansing and talk about detoxing, but people hurt themselves because they don't know how to do it properly. So we want to make sure that we know the difference and what the body needs and how to do it properly. So that's going to be our next topic. We want to thank everybody for coming. And if you want to get in touch with us, we have your email and your name. So we will email you our PDF with this 5+1, our 6 our 6 steps to take control of your health. We'll do that. And then we also have a bonus for you, which will be our good food, bad food list. These are the things that you should be aware of, that your body is good for you and the things that are not good for you, because all of this contributes to the optimal health of your body. So we want to thank everybody for coming, and we look forward to seeing you on our next event. So thank you, everybody, and have a wonderful day.
Thank you. Love you all. Mwah.